to the extra mile. So our typical product is a station based on a 20-foot container where we have a ground control station, and we have also the largest hub in the world where we can welcome up to 24 drones. So we are drone agnostic. We can welcome literally any kind of drone, and it's all powered by clean energy. So if you look at a more thorough view, that is actually quite an impressive hardware, but we want to focus on a different hardware solution, and I will come after to the software part. So the station can be put on a truck. So that's the thing that we sold recently in Saudi Arabia, but useful for inspection in cases of a disaster relief. Think about New Orleans, you dispatch a drone truck and you can immediately locate the survivors and drop survival kits. We also work with Boston Dynamics. So we have a partnership which makes us the first solution, what we call drone, robot to robot, where we can connect the dots between different points. So the product line is basically divided into stations and also a special purpose vehicle. But we go further than that. Due to the demand of our customers, because we have a very large hub for drone that can be applied to, for instance, to e-commerce, retail, or pharmaceutical warehouse. But when you need to dispatch your goods, let's say to pharmacies, you want to have a landing pad near to that. So we have a 9 feet tall pad that can welcome a robot and also manage a payload. So why the robot? Because you also need to deliver inside the building. That's particularly the case in Middle East, where nobody wants to go out in the midst of the day. We have our full app that is working, so it's a full ecosystem, I would say. But enough pictures and rendering. So let me show you how it works. The video should come, and if it doesn't, I will describe it. But this is a 5G full delivery system that we have implanted in Europe recently. So it will work. The person from the lab is requesting a pickup. The station will actually send a robot, in that case, a Boston Dynamic robot. And this will be directly put onto the robot. The robot will go, after the pickup, will go to the station, and the payload will be automatically transferred to the drone. So the benefits are massive. We all prefer people to stay in the lab and not being stuck in a traffic jam. The cost of delivery in terms of operating costs is barely 20 cents per delivery, and they can deliver actually 10 times faster than a classic one. So here you can see we fly 5G really in the middle of the city. The business model, very simple. We like to lease the station. We also have a drone as a service model where we literally charge a price per landing, and we mesh some countries. So we are launching the first drone medical corridor in Switzerland with 8 routes. We just signed also Georgia as a country. So we will have the main hospitals being covered by our technology. We have BMW as an investor, and the team is made of people that have worked with, like a background in Asia, Europe, and USA, including Olivier, myself, and our CTO, who is Stanford and has 30 years of experience in aerospace. We have different locations. So we are in Germany, in Berlin. We also won a competition in Sharjah, which is in the UAE, next to Dubai. There were 554 startups, and we won the competition. So we have a very nice, I would say, package to set an office there. We are in Japan, and more importantly, we are in New York State, where we plan to build a large facility for the US, and we receive a 900K grant from Governor Cuomo, actually, for the what we call unmanned autonomous system grants. So competition is here, and competition is good because it's also validating the model. But you can see Matternet in California or AntWorks in China. These competitors use single kind of drone that is proprietary, And we are multi-drone and agnostic. So we are more like an Android system, if you want. And that allows our customers to adapt their payload, winged drones, non-winged drones, automated deliveries, robots. So we can really do a lot of things. Our goal is very simple. If you automate the delivery, full automation, your cost of delivery is at 25 cents. And that's way, way cheaper than a classic Uber delivery. If you look at retail, e-commerce, right now you have barely anything delivered by drone. But again, in a few years from now, you will have more and more drones delivered directly to your home. We are working with a few retail companies, but also real estate company. So a lot of traction. We work with companies that help us to scale massively and to deploy your station all around the world. Just a few examples that I'm showing here, but literally globally. Why globally? Because we think that in these times of COVID, it's better to have a global footprint that exposes less a company to different lockdown, literally. And an important factor, what was blocking us was not that we have a big market, we have a product, but what was really blocking us is like the capacity to answer the demand. And we have now a capacity to produce 900 units per year. This is outsourced, and we can actually, well, we have zero capex on that. That's the beauty of the model. To give you a strategic vision of the company, we will go to urban air mobility in the future, but we believe that now is not the time. We believe that this market will be ready by 2030. So we decide to make already some revenue and to develop our technology with drones. And in the future, we will go to air taxi. So I try to make my presentation fast so that we can answer questions that you might have on this technology. Thank you for your attention.
Olivier, thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate giving us some time at the end to talk as well. I'd love to open it up to the audience. And before I start picking out people to start the conversation, does anyone have a question on their mind to ask Olivier? Going once, going twice, anyone? Anyone? If not, then I'll go ahead and start it. We'll feel free to hop in when you want to. So it looks like they have a few different jurisdictions that you're focusing on right now. What areas for you are the sort of the low-hanging fruit for regulatory approval, for infrastructure implementation, and what will be some of the harder markets to reach?
So yes, so there are two questions here. So first, we are the ally of civil aviation authorities, because our station, if you want, can measure the weight of the drone before the takeoff, right? So if one civil aviation authority is saying, or FAA says, drone under 50 pounds should not fly, then we will not let the drone take off. So this is how we place our station. So we work literally with the FAA, even US Air Force on this. Our station is also equipped with edge cloud capability. So that brings the latency to a lower level. So what is latency? Is basically when you send an information to a drone, like avoid an obstacle, if your server is too far, that's going to take a few seconds or milliseconds. That could be actually dramatic. So we place this, and we have a lot of traction with telecommunication companies because they see our stations as a way to deploy their 5G. And what we are launching now this month is a quantum laboratory. So the quantum will be a way to link the drones and the station via laser to actually create a safe internet environment. So although you see a lot of infrastructure here, there is a hardware, there is a lot of software behind, and a lot of way to monetize our stations in the future. The second part of your question, we are focusing on healthcare. I know it's an obvious choice, but we have honestly a lot of demand from hospitals, laboratories, big pharmaceuticals to deliver the goods so that their employees can focus on what is essential. And we bring an operating model which is really, really cheaper than what they are using now. So we see a lot of traction in pharmaceutical. We see demand also from smart cities. So at least 4 big smart cities in the world, including the largest one in Saudi Arabia. And we have also a demand from retail. So e-retail is coming, e-commerce, mostly for payload under £5, but that's about 80% of the e-commerce demand. So we are launching very soon a lot of operations, particularly with malls. So in malls, commercial malls, you see some people having issues to pay their rent, and the operators of the malls are wondering, how can we make this business model sustainable? So with our stations, actually, you can help the tenants to deliver their product directly to customers, and you can bring also an additional revenue to the mall by doing so.
Great. And it says, Chris, you just mentioned you have a question for Olivier. Go right ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Sorry, and I did miss the first minute of the presentation, but I think my question probably wasn't answered. Do you have the facilities for hydrogen fueled drones? In other words, as well as battery?
I really like this question because it's exactly where we are going. And I'm a strong believer in H2. The reason is that this extends dramatically the range of the drones. So if you look at the station here, we power it mostly with electricity, like let's say a Tesla Powerwall, but this can also be off-grid. So with 18 square meters of solar panels, you can have full power. Now we already started the discussion with different hydrogen companies, like for instance Air Liquide, where we will have green hydrogen to power the hydrogen drones, literally. So you not only power the station, but you can also refill the drones. Like think about Bonny Express, right? The drone is stopping, changing its payload, and changing also his power source and continuing his route. So that's really something that we are working on intensively. We have projects in Saudi Arabia for that. We have also projects in Europe, which is investing massively in hydrogen, as well as in Japan. But I believe that, yes, the future, for me, the future of drones is into hydrogen. But there are, at this moment, not so many drone companies working on this. So we are a bit ahead of the curve, but we will be ready for that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.